What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here with the latest Madden 22 news. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions over the past few days. People are wondering when some of these updates are coming. I've got some information for you guys today regarding some of the upcoming updates for Madden 22, so we're going to dive right into that in just a second. But if you are new to the channel and you never want to miss out on any of the Madden 22 news, updates, or everything else in between, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any of these videos when they go live. You know, more than half of you that watch the channel aren't subscribed, so you could be missing out on some of these important videos. And of course, you could always unsubscribe at any time. So we've got to start with the scouting update for franchise mode because people have been waiting for this since the game has been launched. We heard that this was coming in September. We're almost halfway through September and still no scouting update. And in fact, about a couple weeks ago almost, we got our first really big update slash patch to Madden 22 that added some things, it fixed some things, but it did not bring the scouting update. And many people assumed that that first big update of September would be bringing that. And for a lot of franchise mode players, they're waiting for this update to start their franchise mode because if you don't, you're going to have to restart it anyway once this drops because it is such a big feature that's being added. It's not one of those things that can be added to the existing franchises. So if you don't update, you'll still be using the old system. And there's also just other bugs in franchise mode that they're waiting to get cleaned up as well before they start. But people are asking, is the scouting update still coming in September? Where's it at? What I have heard is that it is still planned to drop in September. We're still technically in September, so they did say they were aiming for September to get this in the game. So they honestly didn't promise it, but when you say you're aiming for September, people expect it in September. And if it doesn't come in September, heads are going to roll for sure. But we still got about 20 days left of the month, so it is supposed to still be dropping this month. It'll probably be in the second update because if you know, at the beginning of Madden season, typically we get 2 updates a month for the first few months, and then it kind of goes to a 1 update or patch per month. So we got our first big one this month. We're still kind of waiting for that second one. There's still a lot of other things they're looking to clean up, so expect the scouting update to come before the month is over. That's the latest that I've heard on that. Now, another thing that's been kind of popping up a lot lately since the last update are all of the desync issues, and this has just been running wild, and it seems like every year we have desync issues. I know that they did fix one of the desync issues, I think, as it pertained to online franchise mode, but now we're seeing a lot of them in the other online head-to-head modes like regs and in Ultimate Team. There's just tons of different ways on both consoles. I believe on PlayStation there's an entirely different desync glitch that's going around. It's been posted by a lot of people online, so I know that EA is definitely diving into that. Sometimes it's actually, believe it or not, better when people start leaking this stuff and posting it and making videos about it because it really does force EA's hand to have to dive on it quicker, because if just a few people kind of know about the desync glitch, it doesn't become as much of a top priority. But once it's out there in the wild and everybody knows it, then they're pretty much forced to jump on that and get it fixed quick. So that's what I've heard. They're looking into the desync issues. There's some right now in Ultimate Team that pertain to halftime adjustments. There's some other ones that you can sign in and out of accounts and change your accounts mid-game, and that can desync. There's a lot of weird ones out there. If you really want to know how to do them, you can look them up. They're on YouTube, they're on the internet, they're on Twitter, but they are diving into that. Hopefully this month in the later update, those will be addressed, because right now, especially in Weekend League, people are just desyncing and disconnecting left and right, and it's getting ridiculous. Now, we're also going to be having some fixes to zone coverage coming soon, but we did get a little bit of an interview with Clint Odenberg on the live stream earlier this week that I made a video on, where he kind of said that he doesn't feel that zone coverage and pass defense in general is as bad as everybody's making it out to be, and he said some specific things comparing the scores in Madden to real life. In fact, I will link that video below. I kind of did a rant and kind of talked about some of the things he said. Basically, in that video, he did confirm that there are going to be zone updates and patches, but it doesn't sound like they're going to do too much, and they're going to kind of slow roll it out. So the first one that's definitely coming, is probably going to come in the update later this month, is the fixes to the cover 3 zones. Now, they're not going to do any zone buffs, it sounds like, meaning making them react better or jump routes or just play really good. They're mainly going to be focusing on, which I think they need to focus on, is making the zones play correctly and not glitch out. So for cover 3, for example, the deep zones are glitching out and they're letting streaks run by them because they're focusing on underneath routes that they're not supposed to be focusing on. So they'll be sprinting backwards, but then they'll turn around and start backpedaling because a wheel route comes underneath them or certain routes like that, and then they just let the streak run by them, which is what they're not supposed to do. So I think that's the first fix from everything that I've gathered. That's the first fix that's coming, is the cover 3 3 deep blue zones. Then they're going to roll out some fixes for cover 2 and cover 4, but those are probably going to be in later updates. But right now, the cover 3 deep thirds are probably the biggest issue because those are the ones that are glitching out the most. So that is something you should be expecting in the later September update. He did confirm that they're working on it, but it doesn't sound like they're going to go too fast with coverage, and it doesn't sound like they're going to make them too much better. They're just going to kind of keep them from just flat out just going crazy. The custom playbook glitch seems to still be a problem. I thought they might have patched this, but I'm still seeing a lot of people saying that if you use a custom playbook and you go into an online regs head-to-head game, you're getting an entire team disappearing and then the game desyncs. So if you are a custom playbook user, I would just advise not to use it until they fix this, because if you do, you're not going to be able to play a lot of your games. You might be able to play some of the games, but a lot of times when you load into a game, it's going to just kind of desync you right away, and one of the entire teams are going to be disappeared from the field. So knowing that that's going to happen more times than not, I would just stay away from custom playbooks until they fix it. That is something that I think probably will be addressed in this update as well, because it wasn't addressed in the last one, and this was one of the first big bugs that we kind of all found as a community when the game dropped. So that is something I think is possible to be in this update, but I'm just not 100% sure on it. Now we're going to take a look at some of the new things that were just recently added to the game as far as likeness goes, stadium upgrades, field changes, and new plays and formations. So first up, we got a bunch of new uniforms that were added to the game. For the Chiefs, we have the 1970s Classic Home and also the 1970s Classic Away. I like when they start adding more uniforms to the game, because if you're playing in your franchise or even just online regs, you got more options. You can see for the Falcons, they got the 1970s Classic Away. They've got the 1989 Classic Home and the Classic Away. I think the Falcons have some of the best throwback uniforms pretty much of all time. Like, you can really create some nice mix and matches with these and make some crazy uniforms. They also have the 1990s Classic Away too. I love the old school helmet, just the simple Falcon helmet. I really used to like their old uniforms, if you can't tell. The Cowboys got some new ones as well. They got the 1976 Home Classic and the 1976 Away Classic, which basically looks similar to their uniforms now, but they do have the red stripe on the helmet. I've actually never seen those uniforms until now. This is a first. Now, we got 1992 Home Classic and also 1992 Away Classic for the Cowboys. Again, kind of looks very similar to their current uniforms. Maybe some of the stripes are probably different, but they look very similar to kind of what they wear now. Now, here they got the 1994 Alternate All-White Classic. I believe they wore this on Monday Night Football. This was a very clean throwback. I like that one a lot. For the Colts, we have the 1960s Classic Away. The Colts are kind of another team where their old uniforms look very similar to their new ones. It's just maybe some stripe differences. You've also got the 1995 Classic Home and the 1995 Classic Away, which I do like this one with the blue pants. I think that's actually really clean looking. Then we're going to have the 75th Anniversary Classic Away Packers uniform. This one's pretty crazy looking. Got the patch on the front as well. These are definitely some pretty cool ones to rock if you play with the Packers. They also added the 1988 Classic Home and the 1988 Classic Away for the Packers. The main difference here is the stripe on the sleeve. You'll see it has the Packers logo actually front and center on that stripe, so those are a little bit different. Now we're going to look at the stadiums. We have the Superdome for the Saints. It's been changed to the Caesars Superdome, formerly the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. So you'll see the new logos, branding, and the name Caesars Superdome around the stadium. It'll also show on the top of the Superdome as well. You could see it there on top of the scoreboard. You'll just see the new branding and logos all over the stadium. The Lions Field got an upgrade. I don't really know what's different. I'm guessing maybe it's something to do with the end zones. If you're a Lions fan, let me know below. But they did say that they made some changes to the Lions Field, just updating the artwork. They also did the same thing for the Steelers Field. Again, it's probably something to do with the end zones if I had to guess, but I'm not a fan, so I don't know specifically what has changed recently about their field. But in the notes when they did the last update, they did mention those two fields were different. Now, they also added some updated player likeness for the coaches. Here's the updated Sean Payton. I will say they need to get his shoes right, though. He wears the Jordans on the sideline. We need him rocking the Jordans, but it looks like every coach pretty much wears the same shoes. Here's Cliff Kingsbury, another guy that got some updated player likeness. We also got updated player likeness for Sean McVay as well. I'm not sure what they really looked like previously. I don't pay too much attention to the coaches, but they mentioned that they did upgrade maybe what they're wearing, maybe facial hair, things like that, their hairstyle that may have changed. That is the Colts coach right there on the sideline. And then we also have Mike Vrabel, excuse me, for the Titans. You could see he's got some updated, I guess, clothes and hairstyles as well. Now we're going to jump over and look at some of the new formations. We got the Bunch X Nasty that was added to the Rams playbook. This is, no pun intended, a nasty formation. I've seen some people running this. It's got a lot of good under center run plays with this, and it's got some really unique passing plays. You can definitely get pretty glitchy and make a nice scheme with this out of the Rams playbook. Just showing you one example of the play action plays they have right here. Just a lot of good routes and run plays in this formation. Definitely one of the more unique ones in the game. They also added the pistol double stack. This is in the Chargers playbook, the Lions playbook, the Eagles playbook, and the Steelers playbook. This isn't the most practical formation. It's got some decent runs, got a couple nice passes. Not something you would run a whole lot, maybe something you would sneak in once or twice a game, but it is some new things that you can go mess around with. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, as always, please consider subscribing. It does help out the channel. I will see you guys next time.